Before we dive into the topic of depression, I want to take a moment to remind everyone that it's okay to not be okay. Depression is something that affects millions of people around the world, from all walks of life, including some of the biggest celebrities we admire. People like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Lady Gaga, and even the late Robin Williams have opened up about their struggles with depression, reminding us that no one is immune. What these brave individuals have shown us is that talking about what we're going through can be a powerful first step toward healing. When we share our thoughts and feelings, we begin to lift that heavy burden off our hearts and minds. It's like taking a deep breath. After holding it in for too long, it's freeing, and it's a sign of strength, not weakness. So today, as we explore the complexities of depression, let's approach the conversation with compassion, understanding, and an open heart. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on others. And most importantly, it's okay to talk about what's weighing on your mind. By bringing these struggles into the light, we take the first steps towards overcoming them together. Depression is a complex and often misunderstood condition, but it's important to recognize that it's not just about feeling sad. It's influenced by a mix of factors that touch on our lifestyle, mindset, society, and even our biology. Let's start with lifestyle. In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly juggling work, family, social obligations, and more. The pressure to keep up can be overwhelming. Many of us are living in a state of chronic stress, working long hours, not getting enough sleep, and neglecting our physical health. Over time, these choices take a toll on our mental well-being. Imagine trying to run a marathon every day without proper rest or nutrition. Eventually, your body and your mind will give out. Now, think about mindset. The way we think about ourselves and our lives has a huge impact on our mental health. Some of us are our own worst critics, always focusing on our flaws or failures. This negative self-talk can spiral into feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's like carrying around a dark cloud that colors everything we see. But it's not just personal factors. At play, society has a role too. We live in a world that's constantly telling us what we should be: successful, attractive, happy all the time. Social media amplifies this, bombarding us with images of perfect lives that we feel we can never match. When we don't measure up to these unrealistic standards, it's easy to feel like we're not enough. And let's not forget the impact of social isolation. Even in a world more connected than ever, many people feel profoundly alone, and that loneliness can be a breeding ground for depression. When you're fighting just to survive, the idea of being happy can feel out of reach. It's not just about individual resilience. Sometimes, the world we live in makes it incredibly difficult to thrive. And then, there's the biological side. Depression isn't just in your head, it's in your brain chemistry too. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine play a big role in regulating mood. And when they're out of balance, it can lead to depression. There's also a genetic component. If depression runs in your family, you might be more susceptible. Finally, life events can push us over the edge. Losing a loved one, going through a breakup, or losing a job. These are all incredibly challenging experiences. Even positive changes, like having a baby or moving to a new city, can bring about stress that leads to depression. So, why do people become depressed? It's rarely one thing, it's a combination of lifestyle choices. how we think about ourselves, the pressures society puts on us, and even the biology we're born with. Depression is a real medical condition, and it's okay to seek help. By understanding the different factors that contribute to it, we can start to have more compassion for ourselves and others who are struggling. Depression is a battle, but it's not one we have to fight alone. When it comes to understanding depression, big universities and doctors have done a lot of research into what's happening in the brain and body. Let's break it down in a simple, engaging way. Neurochemical imbalance. Imagine your brain is like a finely tuned orchestra. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, the musicians playing the music that keeps you feeling balanced and happy. When someone is facing depression, it's like some of these musicians are out of tune or missing altogether. This imbalance can lead to feelings of sadness, fatigue, and a lack of interest in things that used to bring joy. Brain structure changes. Research shows that depression can actually cause physical changes in the brain. For example, the hippocampus, a part of the brain that's involved in memory and emotion, can shrink in size during prolonged periods of depression. This shrinkage can make it harder for someone to regulate their emotions and can contribute to feelings of hopelessness and despair. When we're stressed, our bodies release hormones like cortisol. In small amounts, cortisol is helpful. It's part of our fight or flight response. But when someone is constantly stressed, as is often the case in depression, the body produces too much cortisol. This can lead to problems like insomnia, anxiety, and even changes in appetite and energy levels. Some studies suggest that depression might be linked to increased levels of inflammation in the body. This is like when your body's immune system is constantly on high alert, which can affect your mood and energy. It's as if your body is in a state of constant, low-level sickness, making everything feel harder. Depression can also affect how different parts of the brain communicate with each other. The connections between areas of the brain that control mood, thinking, and decision-making might not be as strong or efficient, making it harder to snap out of negative thought patterns. All these brain and body changes can lead to behavioral symptoms, like withdrawing from social activities, losing interest in hobbies, and having trouble concentrating. It's not just about feeling sad. Depression can change how someone thinks, feels, and acts on a daily basis. In short, when someone is facing depression, it's not just a matter of feeling down. Their brain and body are undergoing real, measurable changes that affect how they think, feel, and function. Understanding these neuro and physiological impacts helps explain why depression is such a challenging condition and why it's so important to seek professional help. It's a reminder that depression is a medical condition, not a weakness, and that treatment is about helping the brain and body get back in tune. As we come to the end of our conversation today, I want to leave you with something we can all relate to. The understanding that life is a journey, full of ups and downs, triumphs and challenges. We all face moments of doubt, fear, and sadness. Those times when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry alone. But it's in these moments that we must remember, we are not alone. Depression may be a part of the journey for many, but it doesn't define who we are. It's a chapter in our story, not the whole book. And just as we experience the lows, we also have the capacity to rise again, to find hope, and to reach out for support. So, whether you're struggling yourself or know someone who is, know that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take things one day at a time. And it's okay to believe in better days ahead. Together, we can create a world where no one feels they have to face their battles in silence. We all have the strength within us to keep moving forward, to find light even in the darkest of times, and to support each other along the way. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being a part of this. Let's continue to be there for one another, with kindness, compassion, and an open heart.